Things you ought to know this week. 1, look at the back of your bulletin. There's a bunch of things. 2, Christmas Eve service, 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Hope to see you all there. We will have some coffee and some snacks after the service. The Ladies' Open Gathering will be on January 2nd at noon in Waters Hall. There's a sign-up sheet on the lanai. Please note the name of the group has been changed. Sign up on the sign-up table for one of the January shareholder meetings. Any questions, see Linda Underwood or John Spitzer I saw Linda. You in the back somewhere, Linda? That's Linda there. If you don't know her, see her about the January meeting. Since the election, John Van Camp and I have convened 3 listening sessions after the Sunday services. Many of you were there. We learned there's considerable interest in addressing a bunch of social policy issues: separation of church and state, abortion and women's health care, reasonable gun control, immigration, voting rights, etc., climate change. So we're having a meeting Saturday, January 11th, 1 to 3 here in the sanctuary. We're going to create some action steps. Create some teams who will be empowered to create their own action steps and to join others who are involved in their cause. So for more information, see me or John Van Camp. And last but not least, UCOV will be participating in the Martin Luther King Day Parade celebration, January 20th in Punta Gorda. If you're interested, please see the sign-up sheet on the lanai or John Van Camp for more information. And I think that's it. Thank you. So Eileen, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Probably don't need to do this, but I'll do it. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Venice, affectionately known as UCOV. My name is Eileen Leapley, and I'm honored to be your worship associate for this morning's service. You are beloved, and you are welcome here. Whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week, or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth, you are beloved, and you are welcome here. Whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful, you are beloved, and you are welcome here. Whether you have untold stories buried deep inside, or stories that have been forced beyond the edges of comfort, you are beloved, and you are welcome here. Whether you have made promises, broken promises, or are renewing your promises, you are beloved, and you are welcome here. Whatever it is on your heart, however it is with your soul in this moment, you are beloved and you are welcome here. In this space of welcome and acceptance, commitment and recommitment, of covenant and connection, let us come and be together. If anyone is here for the first time and feels comfortable standing, please stand up and someone will bring you a microphone so you can tell us your name and where you're from. And Annie is going to do it, and Tom, I believe. Anybody? Oh, here we go. I know one of those people.
I'm not new, I'm David. My friend Tom Ewing is here from Ann Arbor, and we've been in a men's group for over 25 years from the Ann Arbor UU Church, and he's on a 4,000-mile car tour and stopping in to see friends. Say hello, Tom.
Hello.
Welcome, Tom. Anyone else? Oh, we've got someone here.
I'm not new, I'm old. But I invited my little sister, not my baby, my little sister Lynette to come from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to visit us and warm up over Christmas.
Not working. I packed all the wrong clothes. I'm wearing some of hers. Yes.
Welcome, Lynette.
Thank you.
If anyone has returned this week from far away, I don't know if people are still doing that, but raise your hand and we can welcome you back. No? All right. We're now entering into a sacred space, so please silence any electronics you may have. Thank you for that. We light our chalice and we remember that in the depths of winter, there is within each of us an invincible summer.
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to see you all here this morning. Today we're talking about small streams that wear away stones. We're talking about individual bricks that become a wall and slender twigs that become an unbreakable bundle. We're talking about the power of we and the strength of one voice. So come and let us worship here together. UCOV is a welcoming, caring community open to anyone who respectfully enters. We encourage spiritual growth, seek meaning, and pursue justice together. Please join me now in reading the words of our covenant, the promise of how we will be with one another. In a climate of joy, goodwill, and trust, this congregation covenants to treat one another with kindness and respect, to listen with openness and acceptance, support and protect the environment of which we are all a part, to solve problems responsibly as we grow and change, to encourage learning and nurture the growth of diverse human spirits, and to dedicate time and talent and resources in an effort to make a difference in local and world communities. In the spirit of our free religious heritage, we promise these to one another. Please rise now in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 352, Find a Stillness. This is our time of offering, and as always, our offering words are offered with levity because giving should never hurt. A very elderly Catholic nun was living in a convent next to a construction site where a group of UUs were working. She noticed the slightly spicy language of the workers and decided to spend some time with them to correct their ways and make some money for her own church. And so she decided she would take her lunch in her collection basket and she would sit with the workers. She put her sandwich in a brown bag and she walked to the spot where the men and women were eating, and sporting a big smile, she asked the group, "Do you know Jesus Christ?" They looked at each other very confused. One of the workers looked up to the steelworks and yelled, "Hey, anybody up there know Jesus Christ?" One of the steelworkers yelled down, "Why?" He looked around for a minute and he yelled back up, "'Cause I think his mom's here with his lunch." As no one will ever mistake me for an elderly nun, the morning offering will now be given and joyfully received. Thank you all so much for these gifts and for everything that you do for the life and the work of our community. Because it's as a community of human hands and human hearts that we come together here to bear witness and to minister to one another as we struggle with life's sorrows and celebrate life's joys. Before or during the service, you're welcome to light candles for yourself on the candle table, but at this point in the service, we do light them for you. So at this time of sharing, you can raise a hand and someone will bring a microphone to you. We ask that you only share those stories that are yours to tell.
I'll say something. This is Jim Willott. 3 months ago, Lisa had her knee replaced. 3 weeks ago, it became infected. It's not clear how that happens, but it does, and it swells up. So we spent a week in the hospital here, and they opened it up and cleaned it out, sewed it back together, and now she has to be on antibiotics for 6 weeks, 2 of which have gone by. She's doing well. She's very happy to be back, as am I. So this involves what's called a PICC line, P-I-C-C, which is a catheter that goes from the arm all the way up to near the heart. And through the end, you can administer an IV. I get the pleasure of administering that IV twice a day. With that said, you may call me Jim Nurse, or Nurse Jim, I guess. Thank you.
An old friend of mine from Southern Illinois, Ivan Zwick, age 85, died last week. He was a Jew who married a Southern Baptist, and they left a legacy together of, they established a homeless shelter called the Lighthouse Homeless Shelter in memory of each of their parents, and there is one voice who made a big difference in his community.
I lit one last candle for Miss Grace, who is out of the hospital and back at Vody in the care center. Please talk to me or Pam Palmer or Bev Morrison before going over to visit to make sure she's up for visitors. May the love of this community hold all who need love and concern. May the light of our community shine on the broken places of the world. May we never look away when we are needed. May those who are grieving be comforted and those who are tired find rest. May the broken places be healed and may those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant.
Our first reading is entitled Orion by Ron Yazinski. It's a cold December night, but for a change, the stars are out, sparkling as if recently polished because company is coming. Orion reclines on the horizon as if he really were a god tired of the rut. The wind bullies the trees. I like to think it's caused by the confusion of angels, their wings beating at the speed of hummingbirds, flitting from those who pray for their own needs toward those who pray for others, then back again, never getting anything done. But I know there are neither pagan gods nor confused messengers of light. At the soul of this most beautiful universe, there is only the elemental elegance of vibrating strings. And I know it's true, because on nights like this, I can feel the sympathetic reverberations in my heart. Yes, I know a wise man would go back inside his house, to the warmth of his family and friends, and explain these oscillations in terms they might understand, like the vibration of the guitar strings he plays as they sing Christmas carols. And failing that, point to the tinsel which hangs from the Christmas tree with the angel impaled on top. And how the strands tremble as the model train encircles it, to which someone says that it sounds like Cat's Cradle, and everyone laughs and drinks and feels better. But this is not a wise man shivering out here, watching Orion get to his feet. We come together in this quiet moment to unify our hearts again toward the clarion call of our time. May justice and equity guide us to great connection, a greater truth. Our part is just as great, to approach dismantling systems of oppression within us in order for all of us to be free. To know that when I cherish and tend to the divine spark within me, when I know in my bones that I am worthy of love and whole just as I am, that there is greater potential for mutual understanding and care. Love is not scarce. Our ability to extend compassion and grace can be. I place my hand over my heart and know I can feel the spirit of life within me. I invite you to place your hand over your heart and feel the spirit of life within you. The spirit of life is divine within us. The spirit of life is here. This is the beginning of justice and equity when we go within in order to be of service to our communities and our world. May it be so. Please join me in 1 minute of silent thought, meditation, or prayer. Our second reading is entitled A Few Thoughts on the Winter Solstice by Richard Teagues. Cue the shofar, blow it long and loudly, let it resound among the hillsides. Tap the bowrone, bang out a rhythm for dancing. Tune the fiddle, play the penny whistle. Let the plains echo with the sounds of merriment. Warm the bagpipes, allow its keening to lead us as we lament the short day of the long night. Light the candles, pour some wassail for young and old. Gather the clan to mourn the passing of the old and the reemergence of the new. Whatever ethnicity you are, today is a time for coming together. It is a time for gathering and remembering. The horn and the drum, the pipes and dancing, the mourning and the laughing are here for the living of life. Join me in your sacred place, be it a temple, a home, a church, Stonehenge, a prayer labyrinth, or a concert hall. Take my song and give it life. Take your song and send it on the wing to me. Lift my spirits with your tune, your words, whatever little bit of you that you can share with me. For the time we have together is short. The day is short and the night is long. And half a world away, it is the day that is long and the night that is short. Give me their mirth, make me feel their joy, sing me their songs of joy. The shadows lengthen, and I am restless. I fear no winter of discontent. I fear the winter of my desolation. I long to find the light and the airy tunes, but my hopes are dashed, and I am confounded. Didn't my prayer include a petition that I not be confounded? I know I have sung it often. Like the ancients, I await with eager anticipation the lengthening of the days. Play me your song and lift my spirits. Give me a tuneful melody that I may dance. Give me a reason to celebrate and to live. If the calendar matched the sun, today would be our new year. Today would be our time of celebration. It is a time when the days begin to grow long again. It is a time for renewal and for making merry. The worst is behind us, even though our coldest weather is ahead of us. But the sun shines more, and the days are not as cloudy as they have been for the past couple of weeks. Now is the time to make merry and celebrate with music. Today is the day for celebration. Not this Thursday or the one that follows it. They are made by men for their own purpose. This is the celestial festival that hangs high in the heaven. All creation plays witness to it. Come join me in the dance of the season. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Over and around the
Disconnected. That's what you get when your phone drops the call. Disconnected. It's what you get when you don't feel close to someone or something anymore, when the lines of communication aren't open and the voice on the other end has become a distant mumble. We live in a world of 8 billion people, a world that should be one huge unified web, and all around us is the humming emptiness of disconnection. This is a real question from the internet. Why do hunters like to kill animals? Why don't they just buy meat from the store where no animals were killed to make it? Disconnection. This is a real question from a college senior last year after her instructor mentioned that she grew carrots. Ew, why would you eat something that you dug out of the dirt? Why not go to the store and get things that are, safe to eat? Disconnection. According to Forbes and Wikipedia and Scientific American, 97% of scientists across specialties, across countries, all agree that global warming is happening and it's being driven by human activity. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, had similar numbers and now reports in 2022 that scientists were unequivocally certain that global warming is being caused mostly by increasing concentrations of greenhouse gases and other human activity. Sounds straightforward. Here's some quotes from political representatives about climate change. Representative Glenn Grothman, global warming is not man-made and there's barely any global warming at all. There's been none for the last 12 or 13 years. Look, this global warming stuff is not going on. Paul Ryan, when asked about humans' role in climate change during the 2014 debate, Ryan said, "I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think science does either." Florida's Marco Rubio said, "If you took the gift list of all of these groups and what they're asking us to pass these laws and every single one of them, there'd be no change in our environment. Sea levels would still rise." Former Ohio Governor John Kasich said, "Humans have some impact, but we don't know how. We don't know how much humans actually contribute." There are thousands and thousands of similar quotes out there. Disconnected. 2.3 million Palestinians are currently attempting to flee the war in Gaza. Most of them are Muslims displaced by Israeli attacks, and the refugees cannot get out of Gaza. You'd think we would take them. We currently have the largest military in the world, larger than every other country combined. Daniel Kearns with the 82nd Airborne Division says our current military strength is 1,000 times that of China's, the next most powerful force. Our police are militarized, they have military-grade equipment, and yet we are terrified of admitting the battered and war-torn refugees of a terrible war. The U.S., for those of you who don't realize this, we don't recognize Palestine. And since the U.S. asylum system is so backlogged, no one can find any evidence that even a single Gaza refugee in the last 14 months has been approved for entrance here. Disconnection. As a country, we don't know what to be afraid of anymore. When I Googled drag queen sex abuse of children, I found 2 cases, both were over 10 years old. When I Googled youth pastor sexual abuse of children, I got 9 million hits. Another 6 million additional when I Googled Catholic priest sexual abuse of children. But we keep trying to find ways to ban the drag queens. That's disconnection. When kids think that food grows in a grocery store, and some adults cannot tell you what animal wool comes from. I heard last week a girl online talking about the fact she thought a hamburger was made out of ham. When we can't function without our phones, when people are fighting for the right to carry guns in schools and churches, but arguing that it's too dangerous for children to be vaccinated against chickenpox, measles, or COVID, we have problems. But we also have answers, or at least the start of answers. We're here right now at the winter solstice, the darkest day of the year. And there's a reason that so many religions have some kind of a fire festival or a light festival somewhere in December. Because the solstice tells us that the normal order of things is that the light returns, that the pendulum swings back. It tells us not to give up hope, that the dark and the light come together naturally. Solstice always told people that they had made it, that there was hope, that there is hope, the change is coming. And this isn't hope in miracles. This isn't some hope of a god or goddess who's going to arrive and suddenly wave something magical and all the broken gets fixed. It's not that hope. It's hope in the very real power of connection, hope in the spirit of human life, of human love, hope in the natural cycle of things. It's hope based on the sound of one voice, your voice. The primary teaching of most of the world's religions is the same thing in different words. Be good to each other. Overall, as a species, we recognize you cannot harm one another relentlessly and survive. Christianity says, and as ye would do that men should do to you, do also to them. Hinduism, do not do to others what would cause pain if done to you. Islam, none of you truly believes until he wishes for his brother what he wishes for himself. Taoism, regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain and your neighbor's loss as your own loss. Buddhism, hurt not others with what pains yourself. We get the idea. We know that hate doesn't win. And we know that one voice can change the world. And I am not talking about Jesus or Mother Teresa or Gandhi here. Just a person trying to do better. Just a person doing whatever they're good at. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I got told if you didn't do well, you were going to end up being a ditch digger. I don't know if any of you ever got that kind of message, or you were going to be a garbage collector. In India, Dashrath Menezi ran away from home when he was a kid, and he worked in the coal mines, and he returned to his village eventually, and he got married. When crossing the hills to bring him lunch, his wife slipped and seriously hurt her foot, which eventually led to infection and death. He was so deeply disturbed by what had happened that very night he set out to carve a path through the hills so his village could have easier access to medical care. This man, who all he knew was mining and digging, he is the proverbial ditch digger with no skills. He carved a path 360 feet long, 25 feet deep, and 30 feet wide to form a road through the mountain, using only a hammer and chisel by himself. It took him 23 years, but he reduced the distance between his village and the village where there was a hospital from 34 miles to 9.3 miles by cutting through a mountain with a handheld chisel. One voice. In Prague in 1939, a quiet British man named Nicholas Winton, who at the time was a selfish young man who was going on a skiing holiday in the middle of the war. He realized there as he stood at the ski lodge that no one was trying to get the children out of Czechoslovakia, the Jewish children. No one was saving them. So this selfish young man abandoned his skiing holiday and went to work. All year he worked. He saved 669 children, 7 train loads, this selfish young man on vacation in a war saved. 7 train loads personally, with only the help of a few volunteers that he used for parts of the transport. And he told no one what he did. No one. And when he finished, he just went home again. No one knew what he had done until 1988, when his wife found his journals. And a few years after that, he sat crying on television because he thought he had been invited to a television show about the war and what had happened, to be in the audience. And it wasn't until the middle of the show that he realized there were 669 people sitting in the audience. Every life that he had saved, they found them. He was made Sir Nicholas Winton for this. One voice. January 2014, Pakistan. Aziz Hassan was 14 years old, a Shia Muslim, a 9th grader. He was known for his dislike and criticism of violence and his love of music and his headset. He was outside the school gate with 2 friends because, as usual, he was running late, horsing around. And a man approached and said he needed to get inside, and the boy saw the detonator on his vest. Aziz's friends ran, but he didn't run. He saved 2,000 students, this 14-year-old boy. 2,000 students, some of whom were Shia and some who were Sunni Muslim. He saved 2,000 young people by jumping on the bomber as the man detonated himself. One voice. Greta Thunberg, autistic climate justice activist, the voice of our planet, one voice. When she started, people called her names. They called her retarded. One voice. Mr. Rogers, he single-handedly saved children's television programming at a time when they were going to take it off the air. One voice. Jane Goodall, scientist, conservationist, activist. She changed the way we interact with chimpanzees and their habitats. Malala, a Pakistani young lady shot in the face for wanting to go to school. She won the Nobel Prize and has established a charity to help all girls go to school. One voice. Oskar Schindler, German industrialist and Nazi. He saved 1,200 Jews. Martin Luther King Jr. changed the face of the civil rights movement. Jimmy Carter, a former president, building homes for the poor and modeling the way at 99 years old. One voice. This is the sound of one voice, not disconnected, not lost, not afraid, one voice. It's the sound of your voice. One voice changing the world, not by performing miracles, but by choosing to be good to one another, by choosing to dig the best ditches you can, by using what you are good at, by choosing to live and die for the idea that we are all connected, choosing to believe that change is possible, and it starts with you. One voice, your voice, growing the best plants, making the best friends, and talking and talking and talking to each other, holding on to each other, stopping the disconnect. One voice, your voice, because hope begins with you. And the light will return, and you are not alone. This is the sound of one voice. Dare to change the world 1 inch at a time. Amen. We extinguish this chalice and know that its light will continue to warm us throughout the winter's cold. Please rise and body your spirit and join in singing our closing hymn this week, number 346. Come sing a song with me. Go out into the world and let your voice be heard. Peace, ashe, and may it be so.